Good morning, everyone. This is OG Star Wars. Thank you for tuning in to live coffee chat this morning, our very first one of the year, and I'm so excited. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Yes. So first of all, the very first very important question of the morning is, what is your choice of drink this morning? If you're in the area of the world that is morning time or even in the afternoon or whatever, what is your preference of drink? This right here, my friends, is my merch. I got myself a travel mug. So excited about this. This is without the text. You can get it with the text. So this is a travel mug. And so I think it turned out relatively well. Great. My art on there. Hello, hello. So what is your choice of drink? What kind of coffee are you drinking today? What kind of tea, chocolate, eye opener? Share in the comments and let's get this going. All right. So let's see who's here. I see Miss Ruthie here, Miss Star Wars for Life review. Hello. Good morning, darling. Sith Lord Felix, good morning. What is your choice of drink? Mads Mama Bear, hey, lovely. How are you doing? And Peditine, is that correct? I'm sorry if I butcher these names. I know how it is to have a name butchered because my name is Alora and it's spelled very different. And sometimes the spelling even gets screwed up too, to where I've even had my name spelled El Hora, which is kind of funny. All right, Sith Lord Phoenix, coffee. Yes, coffee. So cheers to that. I left a link up here if you want to check out my merch later. You can go on to Redbubble. You could buy t-shirts, men and women styles. You know, I'm not trying to assume anybody's gender, if that's a thing for you guys. Stig, good morning. Good morning. How are you? Yeah. So again, go check out the merch. I'm very excited. You can get one with the OG Star or Legends Girl OG Star Wars. You can get the mugs. You can get the travel mug here, shirts. I think I even have like the laptop skins, and I think I have a clock. I mean, there's so much stuff you can purchase that I have set on there. So it helps me out. And I want to upgrade my StreamYard, so that would go towards that. Hi, Mads Mama Bear coffee too as well. All right, so how is your New Year's going so far? How is everybody's New Year's going so far? We are on the second day of the new year. So I hope it's been really good to you guys so far. Not eventful in a bad way, but eventful in a good way. All right. We have 6 people tuning in. Thank you guys for coming in and joining. And if you guys wish, please go like and share. Also share on Twitter and other social medias. Get people in here. Yes. Let me take a sip. All right. So there's not much news going on in Star Wars. There's one article I've been trying to find, and someone had made a hi Thomas, how you doing? Irish black coffee, recovering. Oh, so you're having an eye opener, helping you cope with your New Year celebration. All right. So what I was saying is that there was an article, and I'm guessing it's an article reported. I'm looking for the darn article. Someone reported on their YouTube channel about Disney sticking up for their decision regarding Anakin and their choice of bringing Palpatine back. And I cannot find that article for the love of me. And that person did not share the article on their YouTube channel when they reported it. So I don't know, taking this with a grain of salt. So I'm going to begin here. I wish I had something to share you guys. So this is just like speculation, and just maybe we just from the recent events figured that, you know, Disney, Lucasfilm is covering their tracks. And so what's in this article, or this report, the speculation is basically that that they're sticking to their guns about Anakin, and bringing Palpatine back in that Anakin did fulfill the prophecy just temporarily, because the Palpatine was dead when Endor explode or not Endor, geez, when the Death Star exploded. However, if you watch the movie, that wasn't the case. It even shares that he survived the explosion. So it's just a huge mess. They're continuing to explain their shit away. All right. Hi, US Dutch Kitty. How are you doing? Good morning, Keely Chow. How are you doing? Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. Roll Tide. And Teresa Martin. Hello, lovely. All right. All you guys are tuning in. Thank you so much for joining me. So I'm trying to look for this article to confirm that huge mess that they're explaining away. How, and it's Disney, Lucasfilm, they're going to do whatever they want now. It's their franchise, and it's disheartening to see that, they are taking this whole new approach to Star Wars, and, and it's angering a lot of fans. So, all right. So those who are just tuning in, what are you drinking this morning? What's your choice of drink? So go ahead and share below. I mean, sometimes, if you make it out the door, you might have Starbucks or whatever, Pete's Coffee or whatever kind of coffee shop that's in your local area. When I travel, I really like Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. That's one place I would like to go to, but that's basically in the Bay Area and down south. Excuse me. Ginger honey tea. Ooh, that sounds great. That sounds great. All right. And I know Stig said he was reading something. Let's see here. Started reading Cloak of Deception earlier. Impulsive pick. Oh, nice. All right. So now, since we started off with that note about that article, I'm trying to look for that someone reported on. And I wish when I watch YouTube channels, I wish when they have news like this, I wish they would report the source. And they didn't even say the name. So like we said, take it with a grain of salt. All right. Grobnob, the troll. Hello, everyone. I got parts 2 and 3 of the Han Solo trilogy today. I'm on chai tea with soy milk. Okay, good, awesome. Oh, and I shared this video on my Twitter, but this is the book I'm gonna show you guys. It's very beautiful. So let's see. Oh, I got a blanket here because I woke up chilly. Our heater wasn't turned up very high, and it's very chilly this morning. So I got my blanket with me. I got coffee with me, chatting with you guys. All right. Okay. So speaking of EU, this is something I got for Christmas here. This is the Han Solo trilogy in a beautiful cover, hardback. Here's the back part. Look at Jabba. Look at Boba. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And then it has its own marker, its own ribbon marker, place marker. And the inside. Let me see. So I am very thrilled. I read the whole trilogy, but maybe just reading in here, this again, and this will just make it even much more interesting. I don't know, but yeah, this is such a beautiful, beautiful book. Yes. So let's see. It's very chilly this morning. Meanwhile, in Norway, you're way up north. Let's see here. US Dutch Kitty. Oh yeah, I'm in my onesie that premiered on YouTube with. Oh, okay, nice. I am so tiny. I'm a tiny woman, so I could probably sport a onesie in coffee chat if I wanted to and get away with it as well. I mean, like height wise and everything too. So but onesies are awesome when it's really, really cold. Okay. I just started Heir to the Empire, finally up to chapter 10. Disney probably should have adopted this for their trilogy. Yes, and that's one of the books or the series or trilogies that would have made a good either um, story, like off spin story, to maybe a trilogy or a trilogy. So that would have been something interesting. And we would have still the remnants of the empire per se, but then in a different take because we'd have Thrawn. The book, 10 out of 10. You're talking about Heir to Empire Stick? Okay. I buy used paperback these days, nice and cheap. Yeah, there's a lot of the books are being published now in paperback. I say don't shy away from buying books that says legends on it, the original EU books that says legend on it. And my reason for that, and at first I was like, I'm not gonna buy those books in legend, with legend banner. No way. I'm gonna find the classic books. I'm gonna find, the ones that were printed without it, blah blah blah. Well, now my theory has come to this. And when you buy your EU book, like just say you need to finish your collection and you go and buy them and they have the Legends banner, what that is telling Disney is that this is what you prefer. This is the Star Wars you prefer. So your money is going towards Legends, to the original EU, what you prefer. And again, we have to speak with our wallets, right? And so why not show them that we prefer Legends or the original EU? Okay. So that's just my take on that. And that's why I say, on my Twitter, my campaign thing is I choose legends, my campaign hashtag. Rosetta, good morning, sweetie. How are you doing? All right, Stick. No, the huge, gorgeous hardcover book you showed us. The one is a 10 out of 10 and gorgeous. Oh, okay. All right. Yes, I know. I was like, it's so beautiful. I don't even want to open and read or manipulate the pages or anything because it's gorgeous. It has the beautiful silver lining lining on it. I'm focusing on the EU novels that are around the OT first, then maybe branching out a little. First, I read Where the Bounty Hunter are. Oh, you read the Bounty Hunter ones, the Bounty Hunter Wars, Grobnob? Because we're going to discuss that in a little bit. All right. I really prefer buying ones with Legends banner. Yes. And like I said, I mean, it's always good to go and collect the ones that were published before because those are probably more valuable. I get that. I truly do. But these days, you want to show where your interest is at. I still have my original Star Wars novel from the 70s and my Topps cards. Oh, my God, Topps cards. Yes, I collected the baseball cards. Yes. And then Garbage Pail Kids. I don't know if oh, hey Tito, good morning. Okay, so those are tuning in with me. What is your choice of drink this morning? What are you drinking? And if it's coffee, what brand do you prefer? I'm having Folgers. But for a while there, I was drinking Tim Hortons from Canada. We know people from Canada, people we dance with on the Powwow Trail, and we have some friends that are from reservations just near the border of Canada. And so one of our really good friends, my sister friend, she went back home to her reservation, which borders the Canadian border in North Dakota. And so she brought us back some Tim Hortons. So that's really good. I like Tim Hortons. Okay. You're flying from last night from being on with Anna? Is that what you mean, darling? All right. I'm not spending $6.99 on new paperback when a used one is $2.50 and exactly the same read. True. I mean, there you go. I mean, save if that's what you can afford, no judgment, or if that's how you prefer to spend your money to save. I get it. I get it. All right. I think I found the article you were talking about. It's in your DM. Oh, okay. Because I was looking all over for that, Mads. Oh, Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna check it out real quick. Like, let's see. Okay. All right. So we're gonna check out that article here. So hold on, you guys. All right. Let me pull it up. Okay. I have so many banner or so many tabs up right now. It's crazy. All right. So we're gonna pull that up in a few minutes. Thank you, darling. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see. The problem is that people who are all against Disney still pay for the Mandalorian, that Fallen Order game, etc. That is supporting the new crappy canon. Nothing will change when that happens. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a hard because there are some good things that people that they're producing in Star Wars, and so they're going to purchase it. So it's very, very hard. And yeah, I get it. And there are some people who don't want anything to do with Disney, Star Wars, yet they still purchase it and stuff. And again, I can't tell anybody how to spend their money, which way to go. All I can do is do my best and maybe encourage or give some insight on that as well, like you are, Stig. Rosetta, have a safe trip. Oh, I didn't see. Is she going somewhere? Oh, okay. I'm the only jerk doing audible audiobooks. Oh, so are you just reading the audiobooks, or is it the audible where you're listening, Sith Lord Felix? Because I listen to audiobooks because I love the theatric of it, where you have the Star Wars sounds, lightsaber sounds, you have all the classic music, everything, and then the voices are really spot on as well if you get the right narrator. And so I just totally adore that, and I always recommend that, especially if you don't have time to read or you're following me on my lore book reviews that I've been doing and you don't have time to pick up the book and read. Get the audible or audible and listen to it. And you could do that in your car, when you're cleaning up around the house, when you're home just chilling, whatever. So I mean, just however you consume it, just do it, just do it. Do it. All right. Oh, hello, hello, hello. How are you doing, entertainment hacker? How's everything going over there with you and your family? And you are like ahead of us? Like how many hours again? I would say what your choice of coffee is. If you're drinking coffee right now or whatever you're drinking, what's your choice? Audible to listen. I listen while I work. Okay, there you go. And that's good. I mean, I always recommend to read the books first and then listen to Audible, but again, if you don't have the time for books right now, and this coming semester, the spring semester, I will be finishing up for my degree and graduating, so I'm so excited. I'll be getting my AA in art studio. Um then the Audible books, when so busy, you can check them out. All right. Good morning, Ryan Kennel. So, Entertainment Hacker and Ryan Kennel, they both have amazing channels. You guys go like and subscribe if you have not. Okay. Yeah, and they do give you a great pronunciation because there was times when I butchered like even the word croissant. Croissant. No. All right. Let's see here. Oh, yes. And so those who are interested in joining in on the book club or book reading club, Ryan Kennel and Lethal Lightning are doing this, and I believe we are meeting up on one of their YouTube channels on the 11th. And the books, the trilogy we are reading is Darth Bane trilogy, so the first book in that series. So if you guys want to follow along, again, you can get the Audible. It's on Audible. Okay. Happy New Year's, Legends girl. Thank you so much. Again, if you're joining me, what is your preference this morning of coffee? Do it, yes. Okay, let me catch up on these chats and then we'll check out that article to see what that article is about before we move on. Do you have second cup OG stars of like a coffee? Sometimes I drink it throughout the day. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Sometimes, especially when I'm working, my painting switched over facing the other window there. So when I pick up on my art, like sometimes I paint into the night and I go to bed really, really late. And so I will have coffee. So again, if you guys are tuning on here, I do have merch available. And the link is in my description already. So you can get t-shirts, mugs, travel mugs with my avatar. You can get it with or without Legends Girl on there. And that will help me upgrade my live stream and, you know, keep this channel going. So that would be greatly appreciated. Going good till they come home tomorrow. I don't know what coffee I drink half the time. You just make the coffee and drink it, or does okay. There we go. So those who are interested in picking up on the Pain trilogy, there you go. Let me take a drink here. And I'm going to take a look at that article real quick. Oh. All right. So props to get out there. All right. Let's see here. Coco for Ruthie. Be there or be square. Yes, Teresa, tell them. I read book one, Bane. Excellent. I am actually going to bounce by okay. Okay. My favorite Star Wars book as a kid was The Empire Strikes Back comic by Marvel, but in a paperback format. Yes. And can't find my copy, so ordered one from US. Oh, okay. Yeah. And those are classics right there, and also very, very, you know, keepsake, you know, something you want to, you know, put away because of the value of them now. I'm going to get more involved with the book club. Yes, do it. I highly recommend it. It's amazing. It keeps legends alive. And with the direction Disney is taking Star Wars, it's a great time to return back to legends. They're basically having people return back to legends because the material, the lore is so kept up so well and coherent in it. And it's just amazing stories that doesn't compromise the movies at all, are the legacy of the Skywalkers that we have been seeing. All right, Teresa. I remember when Phantom Menace came out, I definitely saw solve the Coruscant pronunciation. I like I said, but before I started listening to the audibles, yeah, some of the words, it was I butchered them. It was so bad. Okay. Hi, Scarlett. Hi, Laura. Happy New Year's. Coffee is important. Hey, everyone. Yes, coffee is life, right? Okay. I don't know if I have time to finish the Bane book by the 11th, so I might have to skip that panel. Get the Audible, Stig. I say you have no excuse now. There's Audible. I'm just putting you on the spot, darling. Okay. Hey, Will, how are you doing? What's up? Happy McClunk to you all. McClunky to you all. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and bring up this article here, and we can read it together. Let me see here. Hold on. Copy to clipboard. Hmm. Okay. I am gonna bring in a couple of people if they wish to come in. If not, then I understand. All right. So let's go ahead and bring up the article here. Okay. Share screen. All right. So I'm going to bring up this article and we're going to read it together just because, um, you know, with the EU, it's very prevalent that the Skywalker legacy are Anakin as the chosen one and Palpatine, and that has meshed well together, and it's kept in great continuity in the storyline. And so this kind of it's just mind-boggling, I guess you can say, to see how they just don't care, I guess. So let's see how this article is. So in 2006, George Lucas believed Star Wars should start and end with Anakin Skywalker. Well, that he was the chosen one, and what I'm going to say with that and divulge with that is that was the prophecy of Anakin, and then we got to see the story of the son, Luke Skywalker, after the fact. And I don't know if the ladies join me. Okay. All right, so let's get in here. All right. So who knew that sci-fi film made in 1977 would go on to be one of the biggest franchises of all time? Star Wars is admired by many and celebrated by countless fans. Yes, indeed. And we are so passionate about Star Wars. And that's why we are here today enjoying Legends now, because of the direction Star Wars has gone in Disney's hand. With 9 movies, 2 spin-offs, and several television shows based around this universe, it's a force to be reckoned with. The original characters and galaxy are all thanks to George Lucas, who directed and wrote the first 6 films. He sold Lucasfilm to Disney. Okay, so we already know all this, that when he sold, when the acquisition happened. Look at him. I don't know. All right. George Lucas expressed that Anakin's story is where Star Wars should have ended in 2006. Okay, so let's get into that. Reddit user posted a letter that they received on February 23rd, 2006 from Lucas. Anna Merrifield, assistant to George Lucas at the time, signed it and responded to their attempt to persuade Lucas to make episode the next trilogy 7, 8, 9. However, urging the user to use some books from the library of their project. Merrifield goes into from the library of their project. That's very interesting. Okay, goes into a thoughtful response regarding the sequel trilogy. With regard to the last 3, 7, 8, and 9 of Star Wars, or with regards, excuse me, Mr. Lucas has indicated that he will not make because he feels the story has a good ending with Darth Vader when Darth Vader is redeemed in episode 6. Yeah, I agree. That was a great ending to Anakin's story and the redemption of Anakin, as well as the chosen one prophecy. We hope that you can understand that he feels it is important for him to move on to other creative projects, having devoted so many years to the Star Wars films. And there is a quote. I'm going to look back at the screen. There is a quote that George even stated, and he probably has stated in so many different ways, is that he already told what he needed to tell in the films, and that his team his franchise is now sharing this, sharing the stories through the novels and the books, which he was very involved with in some way, shape, or form, to even just approving the storyline or approving of characters or even having a huge say in the development of the stories, especially when it was around his own movie characters. Okay. As we know by now, the sequel trilogy did end up happening, but went a different route. Yes, and that it's tragic. When sticking with the Skywalker-oriented story, Anakin's Skywalker's tale is the heart of Star Wars, as Lucas pointed out. And the only mention of him in the sequel trilogy is Kylo Ren's twisted idea of what his grandfather would want from him. I don't think Anakin, I didn't get that he was looking or searching for what Anakin wanted of him. In fact, didn't even speak about Anakin. He spoke of, Vader. So but he was saying that he was going to finish what his grandfather started. He didn't say, "Oh, did you want me to finish this?" So that was I think this is kind of a twisted verbiage here, but that's just my thought. You do find out that Palpatine has warped his reality of Anakin, though. So it does make sense eventually. It does not make sense because when you look at the overall stories of, or basically Return of the Jedi, Palpatine perished in the Death Star, and that's even in the EU. The only thing that survived of him in the EU that allowed the legacy of the Skywalkers to get rid of him once and for all was that he, did that force essence transfer into a clone. So basically, he did not survive that at all. And even in the storyline, in the lore, it wasn't even clear that it was truly him because it was just a clone of him. Okay, so let's see here. As we all know by now, the sequel trilogy did end up happening, but went a different route. Okay, sorry, you read that part. Anakin's tale is the heart of Star Wars, as Lucas pointed out. The only mention of him in the sequel trilogy, okay, I read that. Kylo's twisted, blah, blah, blah. Okay. See, I got into a little rant and repeated everything, but that's okay. Lucas sold Star Wars in 2012. Yes, we know that. That's when all our hearts broke, when the EU was discontinued. Okay. The Mandalorian and to bring back the Clone Wars for season 7. It is also allow Disney to create the out of this world experience of Galaxy's Edge. Okay, so we're just, introducing all that. As the person reported, in 2018, Lucas shared the Insight Edition's companion book to James Cameron's story of science fiction that he would do if he kept the rights to Star Wars. In keeping with what he wrote in 2006, his sequels would continue the story of the Jedi and the Sith, but instead of wouldn't continue the story of the Jedi and the Sith, but instead focus on the microbitic world. The beginning in this world were called wills that controlled fate and destiny to the universe. Okay, yeah, so that was kind of a glimpse into what George was giving Disney Lucasfilm for a sequel trilogy. Basically is a spin-off of the wills. And if they wanted to continue the Skywalker story, I believe that they could have done that with George's treatment as well of the wills, and have Luke passing down the torch to Jaina, Jaina, Ben, and Jag. And while him and the top three, him, Leia, and Han look for the wills and look for Mortis, trying to figure out a way to capture, trap, or kill Abeloth. Excuse me. To put it simply, it doesn't seem like Lucas liked the sequels that much. You think? All right. You really think so? All right. Or at least not The Force Awakens. According to Screen Rant, in Bob Iger's book, The Ride of a Lifetime, Iger, so this is like Bob Iger's confession book on how he treated George. We all know that. Kathleen Kennedy showed Lucas episode 7 before it premiered, and he didn't hide his disappointment. Lucas found it redundant and said there's nothing new. Exactly. We all said that. That's just a rehash of A New Hope. And that's there weren't enough visual or technical leaps forward. There you go. Boom, right there. Boom. All right, but we probably won't get Lucas's thoughts on The Last Jedi. Or, well, we got an expression and somewhat of a thought on that. He said it was beautifully made, and that's all. And that's just basically the visuals. Or The Rise of Skywalker either, considering he had regrets about airing his opinion on The Force Awakens. And oh boy, I wish we could get like some kind of biography novel of George and him talking about the later years after he sold and what he has seen done to his babies, done to the Skywalkers. And just to hear, be a fly on the wall, maybe when he talks to Mark Hamill or any one of them about the direction Disney has taken Star Wars, just it would be golden. In an interview with Charlie Rose in 2015 and called Disney kids who played it safe, and that he felt like he sold his franchise to white slavers. Yes, I remember that. He made it clear after that it was inappropriate and that he was happy Disney had control of Star Wars. Yeah, I think he just said that to kind of make some kind of peace, because they were still bringing him in for guidance, knowledge, then to just knock down all his ideas and not use any of them whatsoever. George being iffy on anyone touching his creation can only be expected. Of course, it's his baby, it's his brainchild. Luke was his first child, and then there's Anakin, and to see the legacy of the Skywalkers just being taken down such a nihilistic path, I can understand how he feels. But regardless to how Lucas felt, Star Wars is continuing to gain new fans every day and making old fans happy all the time. All right. I think that's bullshit. I think that's bullshit. I really do. I sincerely do. They're not making old fans happy whatsoever. In fact, they're saying they don't even want us in other articles. All right. So what do you guys think about that? Darth Abrams, Darth Lord of the Sith. And I'm going to show some Reddit's possible leakage spoilers, not spoilers, but the dynamics of Rise of Skywalker and what should have happened here in a couple of seconds. So I'm going to read through these here. JJ's a butcher. No problem, Star Wars review. Okay. Rehashing old ideas, nothing new. Sad. All right, darling. Have a good day. Oh, the sun is coming out. Nice. All right. Have a good day. So that article right there, they're always explaining their way out of everything, their direction. And like I've said before, it's their baby now. They bought the sole rights to Star Wars, and they can make it in their own light and their own vision. However, I think their direction that they're taking is not a good direction, because you're alienating basically your hardcore fans that had kept this franchise going in between movies when nothing was being produced, within the 40 years, reading the EU, playing the games, collecting the novel or the comics, lining up at the movie theaters, waiting to get in, for hours. That even happened with the PT, no matter what the qualm is about the PT at the time and the direction that, people thought George should have took the PT, the prequel trilogy, people were lining up to see that. They were making records, and we're not seeing that with this new Star Wars. In fact, again, they took it in a very nihilistic way. They're looking at today's society and saying, we want to cater to you and we want to cater to your thoughts. And George, what he did was just took mythologies that can resonate with anybody around the world, any culture around the world. And he took those mythologies and those heroes' journey and put it into the story and wrote a fantasy about a galaxy far, far away that we can go into and we can believe, and that we can have an adventure that we have connected to with characters, like Luke Skywalker, and watching him struggle to become a Jedi, watching Anakin struggle because, and his fall and rise as Darth Vader, and seeing all that happen and reading about it and further in the expanded universe. And they took all that and said, nope, we don't want to do that no more. We want our own character. We want to cater to the minorities and to women, because there's hardly any women that were main protagonist characters, yet we have many, many movies that had them. So I don't understand. I've never understand their approach, and it's a huge turnoff for me. All right, so there's my rant. Let's see. It's Iger trolling us, laugh out loud. Yeah, if those new Reddit posts are true, poor JJ. Yeah, and I'm going to post them here in a couple. So we're getting to that. And my thing about that is again, Disney Star Wars, as much as people say, oh, well, they really don't get in the way with Lucasfilms. They do have the initial say in what should go down in Star Wars and any of the IPs they have. All right, everyone should read this. JJ wasn't to blame. It was KK and her story group again. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the one I'm going to put up. I have it up on my tabs here. JJ went back for the EP knowing full well how the system worked. He could have said no. And that's exactly, or he could have walked away. I mean, unless it's in his contract not to, because you know how many times, we've seen directors leave, leave. I'm saying that in a very sarcastic way because we know what happened with these directors. Why, hello, good morning. What is your choice of coffee here? Thanks for joining us. Now that the sun is out, my light is all crazy again. Damn it. All right. Oh, that is very cheesy. All right. We can see why Colin Trevorrow walked. Wise move. Yeah, and so his story too basically stayed true to the vision of, I wouldn't say George Lucas, but to the vision. Well, yeah, George Lucas, to the vision of how George Lucas seen Anakin are the Skywalkers. All right. JJ was lied to, and he tried to say no later. They walked all over him. Yes. Imagine film and TV shows being adapted from EU books. That would have been marvelous. They imagine how Solo, a Star Wars story, would have been if they did it right and if they went with this beautiful, beautiful trilogy instead of giving us shower scenes with Chewie and they destroying his lineage and heritage to Corellia. He, and his backstory as a Solo. Just imagine that. And how, in a way, he was involved with the Rebel Alliance, in such a manner through his smuggling. Hi, Nerd Cookies. How are you doing? JJ messed up Star Trek prior to this. Remember, yes, and that's the thing is that he disappointed so many fans on that level too. So when we look at these Reddits here, keep in mind that there were so many hardcore Star Trek fans that did not like the way he was taking Star Trek. Oh, your favorite choice of coffee is tea. Good. I love green tea with honey, and I love ginger with honey. Ginger tea. Okay, let's see here. I'm sure JJ came back due to experience of The Force Awakens. The Rise of Skywalker seems like it was totally different experience for him. Yeah, and the thing is that, it is said that he knows how to begin, and he has his mystery box type of way of doing movies, but he doesn't know how to finish them. And so we're seeing the backlash of that, of not knowing how to finish, um, not being sure how to finish the Skywalker. And I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Why should the Skywalker story have ended? Why should have it had ended? Why did it need to end? There's no reason for it to end. It never ended in the EU. We still have the legacy comics with Cade Skywalker that could have expanded further if we get more legends. We still have Jaina and Jag and Ben Skywalker, and that was on deck. That was on deck. The Sword of Jedi was on deck for the next adventures and for the new generation to step up. Excellent ways to expand the stories. They could have even said, okay, we won't publish the books, but we'll adapt the books as a story. That would have been amazing. Just imagine that, adapting instead of finishing the books and not releasing them, maybe releasing them after the fact, but taking that storyline, Sword of the Jedi, and the proverbial lightsaber being handed down to the next generation, taking that and adapting it into a story, into the sequel trilogy. That would be amazing. Imagine JJ getting a job as a fluffer. The guy doesn't know how to finish. He just store the porn. Oh my God, Stig. Wah, wah, wah. Someone would have to come in and finish for him, right? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Maybe that's why he's not in the porn industry, right? Okay. I haven't seen the Reddit leaks. Okay, so we're going to do that right now. I'm just going to go down here. I stop at watching Mike Zero and don't dig any deeper into this stuff. Yeah, Mike Zero has a lot of theories and a lot of things that we see that some come into light and some don't, and that's what this is all about. And that's his platform and stuff, is to keep the interest in Star Wars, report anything that comes his way, and I get it. I get what he's doing with his channel, and I have respect for that. It's true that the books are going to be discontinued. Um, I I've been searching for that because when I was in Barnes and Nobles just the other day, um, I was talking to one of the workers, the employees there, and when I was looking at the display for Star Wars, the book display, and it's usually like 3 or 4 shelves, and it goes like from the bottom 3 to the top, so that's how they have it arranged. And I noticed that there was a lot of legends gone, and so that means that they're being purchased, and hardly any Disney Star Wars being purchased. Is everything that's what I'm constantly being told. And so when I was checking out at the counter, the person was telling me, well, they're considering on discontinuing Legends, and I was like, why? I said, isn't, and I said, and I didn't ask the source. So I'm going to go back and investigate that. But if that's true, it doesn't make any sense, because when I go to different bookstores and even Barnes and Nobles, the top selling books are Legends. So hopefully not. And if that's the case, if you are needing to still build up your library, get to purchasing. JJ, I still have some that I still have to add, and I've been wanting to add the comics. Like I said, I was never a huge comic book reader, but now I could kick myself in the ass for that, and I want to get the comics. JJ looked nervous as heck at the premiere. He knew he'd made a wreck. I think they all looked nervous that it wasn't supposed to be the way it is, that the way the movie came out. But I'm not supporting this direction that they're taking, so I did not even bother to even watch it bootlegged, because I seen The Force Awakens and I had that inkling, that gut feeling that what they were gonna do with Luke's legacy, as well of the rest of them and the direction they were taking it. And so I said, nope, I'm done. I'm staying where my heart is happy within Star Wars, and that's Legends. And I don't mind watching spoiler reviews and the funny comedic ones like Mueller does, because it's very, very entertaining. And then so I'm a, but other than that, I won't. Hi, Perry. How are you doing? The EU does seem to be having something of a resurgence in popularity. Yes, and that's why I'm here too as well. And that's why I decided to open up my channel, is to keep the legacy of EU going. What's so great about it. So it really wouldn't surprise me if Disney stopped releasing them. I know. And that's what I'm saying. If they do that in spite, because they want, like how they butchered the Skywalkers for Rey. So I could see them doing this to the EU, the original EU. After all, they've made the wrong choke every step of the way. Or choice choke. I'm so angry. I want to force choke them. All right. Thank you, Tommy. Welcome in. Welcome in. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of that, some of those leaks for those who didn't. I would say leaks, and they're leaks just basically behind the scenes of Disney. And again, we're gonna take this is a Reddit leak of behind the scenes, what's going on within the company. I would take it with a grain of salt as well, though. When we go through them, you're gonna see, you're gonna see that it could be something of a fact. Let me see here. Let me get some of these tabs out of the way. And then we'll go into a little bit of bounty hunter wars and close out. So let me go ahead and get this up. Wrong one. Here it is. So there's like there's like a shitload of stuff being reported, as you can see through my scrolling. Look at all of this. And I didn't highlight any which ones I want to look at. So we're just going to go through some. And if anybody has this link, post it on Twitter, and I'll do it myself, and I'll post it in my descriptions as well. You guys could take a look. Again, take this with a grain of salt. Reddit has proven to be provide false information, and it also has provided true information. So, and maybe somewhere down the line we'll get the true story. But when you hear like the actors and actresses and how they're responding now, it kind of, makes us think, is this truly true? So the leakers, so we're going to go with this one right here. The leakers for the Rise of Skywalker had an agenda and are tied to Disney directly. My source confessed that they have an agenda as well, in that they struggle with ignoring what's been happening to someone who they think doesn't deserve it. Okay, so this person is verifying that their ties. So again, take it with a grain of salt, because anybody can report something and say they have ties to whatever, ties to that source. All right. JJ always treated everyone on an offset with respect. So my source's agenda is that what Disney has done to JJ and how much they screwed him over should be something people are at least aware of, whether you like him or as a filmmaker or not. So what I'm going to add to that is that, again, let's go back to Star Trek. He basically split the franchise there with what he did with the direction he took Star Trek. So is this just a way of trying to make JJ look like a good guy, even though maybe he was doing what he's told? I don't know. And so again, take this with a grain of salt. I try to look at all sides of this, and also the history of the person and how he treated other franchises. Disney was one of the studios who were in the robot bidding wars last year. Disney never had much interest in BR as a company, but they did in JJ because they saw Warner Brothers, who JJ went with in the end, as a major threat. Okay, so we're going into the politics of the movies industry here. All right, I'm going to scroll down here. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna read this one. This one, the top one, just basically tells a little bit more about the thing with Warner Brothers and all that. JJ was devastated and blindsided by this. He's been feeling down over the last 6 months because of some of the ridiculous demands Disney had that changed his movie's story. While the scenes were shot, a lot of the changes were made in post production and the audio was recorded and altered. My sources said they never seen anything like this happen before. He's a director and he wasn't in the know about what they were doing behind his back. All right. So we'll touch bases on that a little bit. Again, if the story group is involved, why weren't they involved from the beginning, and why didn't they have an outline for JJ and the direction that they wanted the story to go? Why all of a sudden make these changes? See, there's a lack of communication within the own story group on what they wanted to do. Hi, Alex Felix. And so this shows, and no matter which way JJ wanted to take it, where was the communication? I mean, they must have approved his story from the beginning, then to change it. And if so, why? And why wasn't the story group involved from the beginning? Or if they were involved from the beginning, why such a change of heart? Is it because maybe the Skywalker story favored the Skywalkers more than Rey? I mean, it's just a speculation I'm putting out there. Hi, Jamajanai. Hi, my genie. All right. All right. So let's go back to that article. Whoops. Wrong one. Apparently, JJ felt threatened over the month leading up to this premiere. Yes. Okay. And they're saying Ryan was never meant to do the last part. Or yeah, wasn't meant to do that. All right. I'm not interested in Ryan right now. JJ brought back Bob. JJ was brought back by Bob Iger, not KK. Disney insisted on more of fan service, less controversy. All right. Why not focus on the overall lore and sticking to the lore? There you will have a great story to go off of and expand off of, as we see in the EU, as well as having that fan service, because the hardcore fans like us, we want to see, stories. We want to see worlds that we are familiar with. We want to see characters or species that we're familiar with, but we also want to see stuff expanded on, right? That's what the expanded universe was, and that's what the PT did as well. They brought us, and PT even brought in EU material as well to make everything coherent. So why not do that? I mean, you don't have to have controversy in Star Wars to make a great story. You just need to expand on it. Keep within the galaxy far, far away. Keep with the lore. That's fan service right there. Is just staying with continuity. And you will have everyone just as happy. You wouldn't have such a big divide. Hi, J528. How are you doing? All right. Let's go back. Whoops. I keep on clicking on the right one. I'm going to get rid of this one. Okay. The original agreement when he signed on was indicated he would have way more creative control than he did on The Force Awakens. Okay, so we're getting into the meat and potatoes on this sucker. All right. I'm a foodie. I love food, so I say that too. It's because it became evident this wasn't the case, and a couple of weeks into shooting when the trouble was with Medellin started. Okay. So again, I go back to what I just said, is that yes, why wasn't there, if they gave him full creativity in this, where was the initial outline on what the story group and Disney Lucasfilm wanted, so that he at least had a guideline? So if you allow someone to have free creativity without any structure, then you're going to have trouble. That's how I see that. JJ wanted to do some scenes he thought were important, but Disney shut it down, citing bigotry or bigotry, budgetary reasons. All right, so is this an indication, the budgetary reasons? Is this an indication that maybe they're not doing so well with Star Wars financially, that they're not making the money? I would, I would say so. All right. May 2019, JJ argued that those scenes were crucial. So I wonder what they were. I truly wonder. Was it those scenes that we were rumored to have Anakin in it? Luke maybe alive? Who knows? They could have easily kept Luke alive. They could have done something different to show that he survived that when he teleported, that forced teleportation. They could have showed that. And he had to let go of those scenes. The other scenes he insisted was approved, or he insisted on was approved at first. He did reshoots and additionally photography in July. The new scene was shot at BR in October. So again, this shares like the rumors that were reported and speculations and insights that were reported by YouTubers like Doomcock with his sources. And so this just shares, reiterates what was going on, and people need to stop. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk about the ending here. Okay. The ending that will blow your mind was a part of this. Older actors were included, like Hayden, Ewan, and Samuel, and everyone who wasn't animated. The Force ghosts weren't meant to be voices because they shot that Force footage on camera. The actors were in costumes. Rey was supposed to be surrounded by Force ghosts to serve as sorts of barrier between her and Sith surrounding them. All right, so I do have an issue with that. I'm going to go ahead and close this for right now. I do have an issue with that. And what I mean with an issue is that when you look into the overall story of the movies, Force Ghosts, you had to be taught and trained to become a Force Ghost. So how would we have Mace in there as a Force Ghost? He died before Qui-Gon taught Obi-Wan and Yoda. So even if that was to happen, that would still go against continuity of the movie. And even though it would have been great to see some of them as a Force ghost, and all that, it still would have gone against continuity with that, because some of them that would be on there basically did not learn how to become a Force ghost. So I still stand with even the Force ghost voices. And so my question here is, did Ahsoka, was she brought in later to talk, the actress, to do this scene? Or was she basically going to be in there? Oh, Mads. Hey,
Hey,
how long have you been sitting there, or did you just pop in?
just popped in. I just noticed the link.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, so we're going over what you had sent, and so I thought it'd be important to include you as well. And then we already read that, so we can go over the Reddit leaks of behind the scenes in Disney Lucasfilm with JJ and possible betrayal. And So what I was covering about is that he still wanted to use Force Ghosts, but he was also adding Force Ghosts that basically we see in the movies that never learned how to become a Force Ghost. And I still think that would have been detrimental because they weren't trained according to lore.
No, no, they were. I admit I don't have the same knowledge that you and the rest of the Star Wars gang does. I'm the Star Wars equivalent of a Muggle, so
That's okay, and you will bring another insight to it, and that's great because I welcome all point of views, and first a certain point of view. No. All right, so I'm gonna go back to that now. So let me bring it on in. I totally closed out of it, but we'll bring it back in. All right. So that highlighted area is just what I spoke about. So about him bringing in actual embodiment of Force Ghosts, including Ewan and Samuel Jackson, which I say again wouldn't have been very well with Samuel because as far as we know it, in the movies, he was never trained to be a Force Ghost. That was after he died. And that was established in the original EU. However, they would have to explain a way in their own EU on how these Force Ghosts were able to talk to, Rey now. So I know it's explained universe. It's not expanded universe. It's explained universe.
No, I've heard the term used by a bunch of you guys, and I think it's accurate as all get out.
Exactly. And so I'm here just like I'm very curious EU Legends gals watching all this development go. My heart still hurts for the franchise on the direction they're taking it, but then also too it's like you have all the source material to use. You had so much lore to go off of.
Yeah.
Why start a clean slate and screw it up?
I'm with you. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah.
But
I know. Go ahead.
Even the little that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so much that happened in this last movie that really doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Just with the existing lore that was already set up in the movies. Like that's stuff that they can't turn around and say, well, they didn't know about because movies.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they have to go back and now and the last within this last week saying Palpatine did not create Anakin, even though the comics really, really suggest it.
I always thought from Palpatine's story, I took it as the one that actually helped create or the father type thing was Plagueis, actually.
No,
he was the one that could manipulate the midichlorians.
Yeah, so the story behind that is that he was trying, of course, to find immortality, manipulate the midichlorians, the Force, to create, Force beings and all this, and really, getting into that type of alchemy in the dark side.
Yeah.
And because he was doing that, and Palpatine, too, as well, joined in at some point, the Force struck back. And I think it's chapter 29 when that basically the beginning of that era of the Darth Plagueis book is called The Force Strikes Back. And so basically to counter Plagueis's manipulation of the Force created Anakin to get rid of the Sith. And so basically the Force did create him. However, you could say that they were the catalyst of it, but because the Force is like, hell no, you basically, I'm the life-giving, Force entity here. I'm going to go ahead and create someone that's going to eventually get rid of you all. So that's that. So I think, and I get how people misconstrue that and take it in a different direction and read it differently. But, basically the Force strikes back by creating Anakin. So,
like I said, I haven't read all of the novels and stuff. So
yeah. Yeah, and so now you can understand a little bit more why some of us are like, what the fuck are they doing to the storyline?
I know that all of you guys have more knowledge about this than the people that made the movies, that made the sequel trilogy.
Even JJ. And so
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting on this Reddit. And I was saying, just look at his track record, how he took Star Trek, and how that was divisive for the fans. So I'm taking this, I'm reading these Reddit company leaks and thinking, is this just a cover up to make him look good? I'm looking at it a different perspective, I guess you could say. I feel bad for the guy, especially when it says, when I just read that he was given full creative control. I think that still is limited because he's dealing with an IP. He's dealing with a franchise that is built upon a lore.
Yeah.
And so I think that portion of that is full creative control. It's still limited because you still have a basis, a timeline, a foundation, a lore, a lore rules to follow.
Mm-hmm.
But also we also see how Disney Lucasfilm wants the direction of Star Wars to go. So if it doesn't cater to their main protagonist the way they want it, of course they're going to change it. Yeah, and we've seen that, oh, well, no one could be better than Rey, not even the Skywalkers. But we'll give her the Skywalker name because now we'll glorify the Skywalkers with her having the Skywalker name. Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like a clusterfuck train wreck.
No, I know. I've heard the homogenized rants on it so many times, and like I said, he makes sense.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to fully watch all his videos as of the latest, but I am planning on going and watching all this, especially with all this stuff going on and the leaks that we have with the behind the scenes at the company and everything. And now you know exactly how I feel about this shit too. And I do have some people who follow me here on YouTube for just strictly the EU lore. And they're like, don't get too much into the Disney stuff. And I try not to. That's why I don't do a lot of news. Because I'm trying to make it to where it could be a safe haven for everybody who just wants to stay with the original lore, where their hearts are at. Some of people didn't even watch the new trilogy because they they don't want their hearts to be broken on how they took Luke Skywalker.
I know.
Yeah.
And as a Star Wars fan, I totally. One, I just realized I've got that on still. I totally can understand where the Star Wars people are coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, the first two movies that he did, Star Trek wise, actually, I'm got the unpopular opinion. I didn't think was that bad, but the third one was just a train wreck.
Yeah. Yeah. And my grandmother was a huge avid Star Trek fan. So I kind of have
all of a sudden.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
I don't know if it's me or you.
Can you guys hear me? Hi, Abunas. How are you doing? Happy New Year. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Sound like a Verizon Wireless commercial, right?
Let me come back and go again. I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay, I can hear you. Hello?
Give me a minute.
Okay. All right, so let's go right here. I'm going to go ahead and close out this for now. So I'm going to post, and I know Stig posted it too, the leaks for Reddit on behind the scenes of the company. And so we have a gist of what's going on. Can you guys hear me? Yes.
Go.
All right, welcome back.
Hey, I got a phone call in the middle of our talk, so that's probably what.
Oh, okay. Because I was like,
sound system.
Yeah. All right. So basically, I'm going to post all that Reddit stuff because there's a lot to read in that. And so basically, to sum it up, what we heard in the rumors with Doomcock and other people and the speculations with that, this kind of ties everything together, that Reddit one. And like I said, I've taken this in a different perspective as well, because again, when you're building upon a franchise and you're building upon a trilogy and also the 6 other movies, there are rules and a foundation you have to follow. So, but however, we know which way Disney has been taking Lucasfilms and what they want to do. And so I could see maybe JJ was trying to keep true to some of the lore, maybe. And they said nope, just like Trevorrow was, and they got rid of him. So who knows? Can you hear me? Hello? I think we lost her. Can you guys hear me? I think we lost her. Everybody can hear me. Can you hear me? She's having technical difficulties. Oh no. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to read some of these and then we're going to get into the book here. As Treb and Tenebrae was the bridge for Plagueis. Plagueis is the bridge for Palpatine. Same plan, same tech. Who began it are his master. So I think Tenebrae was, and then when Plagueis killed Tenebrae, then he was using his body, from my understanding, to manipulate the Force. Okay, I think Mads is having technical difficulties. Still good, still good. I got you. Yes, I can, OG. Let's see here. Let's see here. As far as the Force dying, Couture to the thesis is the PT, the focus can balance. It can be.
Yeah, Mads is having technical difficulties.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I can hear you now. I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay. I just can't hear her.
Oh no.
And I don't know why this is happening.
I don't know either. I'm not muted you. Let me get this out of the way. This is funny. All right, I'm typing to you. I can hear you, Mads.
That's so weird. Got a live stream later. I hope this doesn't happen.
Yes, Abu Nas, and that's the thing I'm getting at is that I'm seeing it all. I'm trying to see it in all different ways of what the leaks were, and also taking it with a grain of salt because, again, we've seen the direction he took Star Trek. However, those are too weird, talking about two different beasts, I guess you can say. And but also too, where was the story group when they approved his outline in the beginning? So they must have approved it basically, and then to change their mind. However, if they seen something that JJ was doing and didn't like it, they have every right to say no or change stuff. And so this is such a sticky subject.
I can hear you.
Hi, what the heck did you do? What happened?
I don't know. I'm really hoping it's not that my headset is shot.
Oh God. I heard a little zipping.
I can't pick up another one till tomorrow. That's the sad part.
Oh, okay.
Hoping you guys can hear me okay, though. I know when I record my cooking videos this way, it usually works out.
Yeah. Matt Wilkins, we need a 3PO translator. Why, hello, Matt. How are you doing? I hope you got your coffee, your tea, cocoa, or eye opener. I know you had a late night with your daughter.
Yep.
She was basically running his nightcap last night. It wasn't him, it was her.
You know what? There's not a parent out there that wouldn't understand that.
I know, right? She's like, and he was so tired, and she was like, I'm awake. Poor Matt.
Been there so many times.
And he's all, by the way, Piper eventually went to bed at 2:30 a.m. Oh, holy heck. I don't miss those days at all. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we have going on here. Only a bloody teenager. Palpatine really is OP in the novel. We did it in the novel. We didn't get to see exactly. We got to see some of the training or read about some of the training and stuff. And he was really strong and gifted in the Force. But he basically was not a Mary Sue to where he could have done anything and everything just by doing it. I think that maybe if there was a spin-off novel with just Palpatine training and stuff, then maybe we'd have more of an insight. But the Darth Plagueis basically was showing how I would say Darth Plagueis is basically about him, but also shares with us how brilliant Palpatine was and how much of a mastermind he was. So it's a great read. So Mads, if you have a chance, pick that book up. So let's see here.
I'm still trying to catch up on my Harry Potter stuff. But I have not read Cursed Child yet.
Sith Lord Felix, who did Rian Johnson have to get pegged by to have creative control over his movie? And that's the thing, is that we didn't hear any controversy behind what he was doing. However, was he a yes man? Like they said, oh, we want you to do this, or I don't know, but the way how Kathleen Kennedy talked him up, who knows? We need a drunk 3PO translator. Yes, we do. I did a parody because I did a review, lore review on 3PO, the protocol droids, and C3PX and C3PO. And then so I was like thinking after I got it posted, I was like, I'm gonna do a parody of that and do a drunk 3PO review. So that was funny. It didn't get picked up that much, but I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. I just gotta love drunk. I mean, there's so much fun stuff you could do off of them. I found this in my sister's collection.
Yeah. That way, yeah.
Yeah. I want to chop the base off. A little fedora.
Oh, nice. that's a Tantive 5, right? The Tantive 4, I mean. That's yeah. Okay, let's see here. Abu Nasaf, two of my best ladies rocking the spot. I gotta go to meeting in 10 minutes though. I know, he's a hard worker. He's out there really doing his thing. Much respect. All right.
Just as hard as he flirts.
Yeah, exactly. Does he have any rest? Did you see his picture he posted? He really shaved himself up. He shaved everything off except for his mustache.
Oh, I don't want to see that.
Go to Twitter. I should bring it up.
I don't do the solo mustache.
And so you should go see. He's like 70s porn mustache.
No, my dad had the solo mustache for the entire just after I was born to, the end. Yeah. So for me, there's always that connection. So that the solo mustache thing just big turn off for me.
You're like, no, thank you. All right. Let's see what Benjamin has to say. It's a plot twist many readers didn't know. It is a subtle plot twist, laugh out loud. The entire novel post the first act is Plagueis under the mind tricks influence. Interesting. All right. At Mad's Mama Bear, if you pop out the back, it should work. It used to happen to me, and that's how I fixed it. Okay, so pop out what? The headphone?
What I did earlier, it worked for just a second, and then this seems to be working okay, so long as you guys can hear me.
Okay. All right.
At the very least, it's a good solution for later on. So
yeah. So let's see here. So this leaks. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I always lose my voice towards the end of this. I don't know why. My allergies been kicking my ass lately.
Yeah.
And so it sucks. So I'm going to skip ahead onto those, and then we're going to go into the novel. Just share a little bit about the novel that I had reviewed, the Bane. Bane. I was talking about the Bane trilogy, the Bounty Hunter Wars that I did a review on. So let's go ahead and skip forward into this thing here. So we're going to go into the healing part. And also to, it says Jaina was confirmed to be Lando's daughter. So I'm going to skip ahead on the top here. All right. So it was confirmed as rumors that Jana was supposed to be Lando's daughter. And when you go look at, and I'm going to go in when I go to the bookstore, even to Barnes and Nobles, I'm going to pull out the movie's visual dictionary. And it also states in that visual dictionary, and it has a section for Lando, and it talks about his daughter being kidnapped by the First Order.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it doesn't give no names in there, and also about him looking for his daughter or something like that. However, it doesn't get no names, and it's not really mentioned in the movies that she is his daughter. And I think that was changed. However, again, it is stated that he is missing a daughter, that his daughter was kidnapped, and that she's a defector. And so there's a huge hint. So I'm waiting to see if they explain this further, since it's in part like this, it's a speculation, and since it's hinted that his daughter was taken, if it's going to really be her or not. So, I mean, there's so many things that was supposed to be done that is even in the visual dictionary that was never shown in the movie. So, was the visual dictionary printed before the movie came out? Possibly. And so these changes that they made screwed up some of the stuff in the visual dictionary? Possibly. You know, just like the comic having to retcon that comic saying that Palpatine didn't create Anakin or influence him or whatever, however, which way you want to take this, because of the speculations of, Rey and Kylo being cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's go on to the healing part. Oh, let's see here. Oh, you're supposed to highlight. Thank you. It's not cooperating. It's like too early for this. People are my computer's like, no, it's early. All right. Rey's not only healed Kylo's face scar, but she killed Kylo when she healed Ben. So take that in, everybody. She killed Kylo when she killed Kylo when she healed Ben. So basically, with her force healing, and that's not how the force healing works. You don't basically, redeem someone with healing. Okay. And so Kylo ceased to exist when Rey healed him. My source mentioned that some people assumed it was Han Solo who healed him, but that isn't true. And that wasn't Han. And that was another discombobulation of having like a full figure of Han coming back as if he's still alive. That was weird. That was Leia using her own memories as well as Ben's to create a physical manifestation of his own thoughts to nudge him towards what he needed to do. So you go ahead. You're giggling. You say something. Tell us what you think about that little piece.
I'm just chuckling over the whole thing. I mean, I'm still partially stuck on the she healed Ben, but
killed Kylo.
Killed Kylo. I'm getting flashbacks to a couple coworkers of mine who would argue as to whether Edward Cullen or Cedric Diggory was hotter.
Oh,
it's the same person.
Yes, he just assumed a different name and for the bad tendencies he was doing, right? It wasn't like he had split personalities and she went ahead and put him through therapy. This is Star Wars. That's not how the Force works.
That's just pretty much the whole theme of the entire sequel trilogy. That's not how it works.
Exactly. There's a meme going around about that. Yes. All right. So So basically, it's sharing that Kylo's mind is so friggin' weak that Palpatine manipulated him with many, many voices. And so his mom can go in there and manipulate him with the voice to get him back to the light side. So why didn't she do that from the beginning? If this is true, if this is what they wanted to do, or that JJ wanted to do, or if this is actually what is going on, why didn't, instead of sending him to Luke, why didn't she just get in his mind and convince him?
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't having a strong mind part of, manipulating the Force, the whole Jedi Sith thing?
Yeah, so like mind tricks, like getting into someone's mind and doing mind tricks, that person has to be weak-minded. Not every species can be you can use mind tricks on.
Yeah. But
And so are they saying, go ahead.
Yeah. You understand where I'm going, I think.
Yeah. It's freaking ridiculous. Oh my God. They're basically saying Kylo is such a weak-minded individual.
Okay,
That doesn't make him a good bad guy.
How can the two of them be playing tug of war with the friggin' ship?
Mm-hmm.
The two don't add up.
None of this adds up. None of it. So if this was supposed to be what JJ is gonna do, then in a sense, it makes sense not for him to do it. But then look what they did anyway. So I don't know which was the better of the choice. I don't know. And so which one was the more better? I don't know, and it's just, oh my God, it's just mind numbing. Okay, so after this, I'm gonna have to read a book or go back and listen to one of my audibles to make sense, just to go back to my happy place in Star Wars, because this is not it. This is torture. I don't know why I'm torturing everybody with this. I'm so sorry.
Because we're laughing about it.
We have to laugh about all of this to have some kind of, I want to say make sense of this, but just to overcome. Yeah.
There's not making sense.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna read the rest of this. So where was I at? Oh, and then she said it says that was her own way of communicating with him, and it wasn't possible without her dying. So when Luke communicated with, like did the Force, because when Luke communicated with her or reached out to her in the Force in Empire Strikes Back, basically it wasn't necessarily the voice that they were hearing, it was the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he reached out to her, he was sending his emotion, the feeling of like he is in trouble, he needs them. But yet he didn't die. And she didn't die. Yeah. So this doesn't make sense. But it is Disney Star Wars. Oh.
Yeah, no clue. I mean, in the original trilogy, I think that that how Luke and Leia could, for lack of a better, hear each other was a combination of their Force twin connection.
Their bond, their Force bond.
Yes.
And that's established. And so Leia is his dad or his mom. So I don't see why she had to die. So now everybody, if you use too much Force, you're going to die from it.
Yes.
So that means all of our Legends people here in the original EU should be all dead by now. Luke should be dead, like from, using too much Force in Disney's Star Wars theory. And basically he is dead because he did use too much of the Force. Holy shit. Oh my God, they did everything the opposite of what George and his team created with Star Wars and turned everything on their head.
They made the Force into a drug.
Yeah. You consume so much.
Lines of Force,
Yeah, too much will kill you, and it's addiction. And that's what Mark Hamill said. He goes, I was addicted to the Force and I died from it. Remember that? I don't know. It's so sad. It's so sad. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Let's it took us a long time just to get through this small paragraph. She made the ultimate sacrifice for her son, and this flew over the people's heads with the Disney cut. Again, I don't know which one's worse. This one that they're saying that JJ was trying to do, or what Disney decided to do, or say, hey, let's go ahead and do it this way. Because to me, both of from hearing what had happened, it's both a clusterfuck. Both of them are a clusterfuck.
Yes.
So I don't know which one is better. Why didn't they just go ahead and just honor the EU, keep it, and then and not break any rules of the lore and use force healing the way it was meant to be used, that was established.
You see, if they had started originally with the going with the EU, there would have been no issue.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know everyone's got their own speculations as to how they could have, saved this.
Hmm.
I stand by, yeah, sure, leave Snoke killed off.
Hmm.
You didn't even need to bring Palpatine back into this.
Mm-mm.
Have Rey switch over to the dark side. And, Finn and that went then Finn and Ben have to kill her off. And then you've
Hmm.
got the whole Rise of Skywalker redemption, blah 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 blah.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I feel so mind numb right now. It's not even funny. I'm just like at a loss of words for all of this, honestly.
The
You
whole
know.
thing was just cheese. I mean, the entire movie was one movie clip after another. I
Hmm.
sat there the entire time going Goonies, Star Trek, you Harry
Yeah.
Potter. The
Yeah.
first time they pulled out the Wayfinder. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, Horcrux. All right.
And it's so crazy how this Wayfinder matched up to this piece of the Death Star that fell off into this moon, this new moon of Endor, and it
This
matched up perfectly.
that randomly burned up, but it matched perfectly.
And then you would think, okay, so if this was planned and this was foreseen, then why didn't Palpatine just prevent this? He could have
Hmm.
prevented it. I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever. None of it. None of it according to lore. Let's go ahead and read. And so I'm gonna this is as far as I'm going because I wanted to
Oh,
point out one um thing that they're saying, well, JJ wanted to use this, but this is what Disney decided to use and change it up. Which one is better? None of it's good. None of it. So I like I said, I don't feel that bad for JJ in a sense when it comes to stuff like that that still breaks continuity.
yeah. What's better at this point? Fan fiction.
Hmm. And there's many great ones. There's one of called what's it called? Which it's end of the legacy of the Force. Not sacrifice. It's not sacrifice because that's when Mara dies. Invincible. There we go. And it's that story, and that's with the twins, and Jaina Solo is fighting her brother and kills him, and so it's a great little fan fiction piece that's on YouTube. And then we also have the one of Heir of the Empire, and we're on chapter 3 that's being put out too as well. So you guys, I'll try to share those within the day. All right, let's go ahead and it says Disney Rocky Desert Flower. Thanks for joining. Disney was afraid to make Rey human and wanted her to be feminine icon, maybe. That's my guess. They went beyond feminine icon. They totally just made her a Mary Sue. She's does not represent me as a woman, and I'm pretty sure Mads feels the same way.
Yeah.
There's nothing about her that I was loved and attached to. There was nothing that brought me into her story, no trials. She just was able to do everything perfectly. And that's for bad story writing, for bad development, and basically shoving politics and into a story that does not need to be put in there. We just wanted the mythologies
Yeah.
that Star Wars brought us. Because Star Wars is a mythology.
And for all the people for her to hook up with, her abuser,
Mm-hmm.
really?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Will Gentry. I started to write out a much better version of Rise of Skywalker about 3 months ago. It's way better than the shit we got. I imagine it is, and I would love to see that. I would love to hear your version of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good to see someone else's take on this, and um, anything is better than what we're getting right now. And that's why I'm seeing everybody come back to Legends, to the original EU. And I message me, get a hold of me on where to start at, like depending on what era of Star Wars you like. Myself, and there's many others like Ryan, Matt Wilkins, Lethal Lightning, Lord Callus. We can point you to the right direction on any part of the timeline you want to start on. So, greetings, Exalted One. Hey, Grandmaster Luke Skywalker, how are you doing? Do you have your hot chocolate? Okay. Yeah, hot chocolate is in the universe, is in the galaxy, if you didn't know that, Mads. Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm still trying to find. I've gotten a whole bunch of requests for some sort of Star Wars themed food.
Uh-huh.
The problem is, I don't want to do some sort of like cheesy, pun based thing.
Uh-huh.
And this is where I'm struggling with it. And trying to find actual Star Wars food. It's like food that was in the movies or something.
There's spice loaf. So on top of my head is, it's spice loaf, and I'll send you some more information about that one, but that's a Corellian food. Then there's also Corellian rum or whiskey, if you want to go the alcohol route. No.
I generally don't keep rum in the house, and whiskey and I don't always agree with each other.
Okay. All right. And so there's food in there. I mean, it's not that much, but there's food in there. So, well, that'd be a good study on just like Star Wars food. That'd be a good thing to do, right? Expand on that. All right. Oh, hey, Mr. Dark Dystopian. How are you doing? None of the important stuff makes the cut, but we get several scenes of Rey doing shit before tattooing. Yeah. And again, like I said, would the other stuff, like what I just read, be good, or would it break the lore? And I still think it would break the lore. I think it would break lore rules. So I don't know if it's good or not. Some of it, yes, maybe some of the development on like who they're bringing in, like actually bringing Anakin's Force Ghost in, makes perfect sense. We have Rise of Skywalker, and there's no Skywalker, basically. And then until someone assumes the name Skywalker. And I think that's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
And I've had debates already with people on this. Well, and I had someone cuss me out on Twitter because I was like, and she steals everything and the Skywalker name. She's a Palpatine. This is like a slap in the face. Well, she is basically orphaned, and I am a foster person, and you have to, earn your family, and da 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 da, and fuck you.
No, I remember that one.
I was like, what? I was like, first of all, I can relate to what you've gone through, but you don't earn a family. You have a family. So whoever your foster people are is your family. You have a family name, and then you build your family eventually. And you overcome the struggles, but you are not your struggles.
Yeah, it's the victim that,
Mm-hmm. And that's what people are resonating right now, is because everybody wants to be a victim. That's the culture today.
I know. God.
And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's like, where is our self-confident youth coming up? Where no matter what I went through, I can overcome and I can accomplish this. Right now, they're like wanting a safe space. Because they're a victim. Mm-hmm, because they're a victim. They're like, give me a safe space, and you can't say that, or or so and so's bad, or even now, like they're reversing racism, and I don't think that's a true thing, but basically, oh well, white people are bad now, blah blah blah, and using that as a form of racism to get back at people from the past. And you can't fix the past by you can't fight racism with racism. No, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not trying to rant about politics, not whatsoever, but we're seeing this in Star Wars and how people are perceiving Star Wars now. And it's ridiculous.
Star Wars and racism. Yeah, no clue about that one.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know
All
who was it.
right.
Yes, it was yesterday. That's like, yeah, they turned the black guy into a janitor and the Latino into a spice runner.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, stereotypes at its greatest. And we have the nerdy Asian girl too.
Yes.
I was like, what the hell? And look at Lando. He was a badass. And when you read his interview about, and I think I shared this a while back, about being Lando, he's like, it wasn't about race because he was upset about how they portrayed his character in the solo trilogy, not solo
Yeah.
trilogy, solo movie. And he goes, it's not about race. He goes, I wasn't worried about being black, basically, in here. When I got the name of the character and I researched it and stuff, he's like, oh, what do you say, Greek or Italian or one of those Mediterranean races there. And he was like, oh, okay, this is name, or it sounds like it originates from this place or whatever. He wasn't focused on race. He was focused on just being a human and portraying a character.
Yeah.
So
I,
whatever
I,
happened to that?
I don't know. I've seen so many responses of his to
Mhm,
what they've done to Lando. I mean, the whole pansexual thing. I've seen his response, and
mhm.
it, they wanted a pansexual. They could have put one in,
Mhm,
but really, at the end, really, unless you're going to show the actual stuff, it's not really a point.
mhm.
And I say this as a bisexual, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so you didn't feel it was first of all, you probably didn't feel that you need to be represented in Star Wars. You just wanted a good Star Wars show, right?
Oh yeah,
Who cares about all that stuff?
anything like that.
Yeah.
In the only time I really care about, them showing the sexuality
Mhm.
is generally not going to be in movie theaters. Just saying.
Mhm. But they want to, but then it's a kids movie. It's a kids franchise.
All the more reason.
And that's the thing. Is people are like, "Why are you so caught up in this?" and blah blah blah. It's a kids franchise. It's not made for you. I'm like, well, then why are we getting all this stuff going on in Star Wars, even in the past where there's a lot of mature content?
Hmm.
That, young kids, they could understand it in the sense that they like the story, but even like the mature dialogue and stuff like that, and like the mythos and stuff, as you get older, you understand more and more, and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper as you mature. That's
Yes.
how Star Wars of the past ages well. This isn't going to age well.
No.
Yeah. So,
Clone Wars, the various cartoons, those are for
mhm.
kids.
Yeah.
These movies aren't for kids.
Hmm.
I admit I'm pretty flexible about what I let my daughter watch.
Hmm.
This isn't going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, just 1 through 6, the EU, we are good. We are good. Yeah. And I don't know how many people are going to be watching the Clone Wars when it comes out. I haven't been too savvy on it. I'm not a huge Filoni fan. So however, he does have an understanding of the EU more so than anybody else, or of the lore than anybody else in the franchise right now. So I mean, it is what it is, and I'm excited to hear everybody's reviews on the Clone Wars and what they finish with it. So,
Sorry, I'm chuckling because Teresa Martin's on fire today.
oh, okay. Should I post it?
Yeah.
Leia being tortured was totally kid material. Yes, exactly. And her in the slave's outsuit. I mean, she was a sexy, badass woman, really, choking out the hut. And that does not sound right, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah. Let's see here. Any more of hers? And that's one of the cosplays costume I want to get is the slave Leia
Honestly,
bikini.
when I drop a bit more,
Yeah.
and I know I have to really get on this because I'm running out of age range that I can convince my kid to do this. But I want to do a mother daughter, Anakin, sorry, Padme and Leia combination on
Oh,
Halloween.
nice.
Yeah.
That would be great. I would love to see that. Awesome. And another one I want to do is another Legends character, and her name is Merax Tarek Horn. And so her dad's a smuggler, and I think I could pull her off pretty well too, being a smuggler. Yeah. So I mean, it'll be fun, and I'm thinking about going to the convention this August. I'm not sure yet because I'm not, like I said, I don't like Disney Star Wars, but I do like Legends, and I know there'll be people there that will have Legends booths there. So that would be good to go to support that. All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Bounty Hunter books that Bounty Hunter Wars, and then we're going to close out here. So I did the trilogy of Bounty Hunters, and I don't know how many people have followed that or has read the Bounty Hunter trilogy. And if you like Boba Fett and you like the Bounty Hunter guilds and you like the Mandalorian and you've watched the Mandalorian, this is a great read to do, just to kind of like have a parallel, like, oh, this is what Legends did and this is what Disney's did. And there will be some cross references because Filoni is using, Clone Wars references, which basically Clone Wars is now Disney canon or Disney lore. However, it has a lot of the EU in it. So, you'll see a little bit of a cross reference there and stuff. So I highly recommend the book. Let me take a sip here. I highly recommend all of the books. See, my allergies are kicking in. All right, just when I'm going to close here, and now I sound like I ate a frog. I sound like Baby Yoda after he eats a frog. All right, so the Bounty Hunters, basically, it shares how Boba Fett survived Sarlacc Pit. It gives us a timeline, and this is based upon flashbacks going from A New Hope all the way to Return of the Jedi, and the crime lord Prince Xizor, and how he was manipulating the bounty hunters guild to get rid of the weaker bounty hunters. And it also shows how Boba Fett has been feared as a bounty hunter, how he does his job without questions. And so I giggle and say, if this Mandalorian series was about him, he would have handed over Baby Yoda quick, because he's a no nonsense. He just gets his job done. He collects his money and he leaves. And that's how he is. And so that's why I don't think that Boba Fett would fare well in the series with what the direction they were taking with this Baby Yoda, because he would have handed that Yoda species over and said, see ya.
Yeah.
So, and then it also has, Darth Vader in here, and of course Palpatine, because this timeline is like I said, in the OT era all the way up to Return of the Jedi. And it also shares how like a dancer from the palace, Neela, who was kidnapped, or who was basically her sister got rid of her and sent her over to the Hutts, and she was mind wiped and became a dancer, and she is an heir to Kuat, which basically Kuat is a planet that makes a lot of the ships that the Empire uses, like their battleships, like the Star Destroyers and stuff like that, Kuat. And so it's a really good, compelling stories. We have Dengar, another bounty hunter that many people love in this. And also too, it goes on how Prince Xizor was trying to use the Bounty Hunters Guild to get rid of some of the heads of Rebel Alliance, and how the Emperor approved of it. So I highly suggest that you guys pick up this trilogy and read it in congruent with the Mandalorian movie or series. So, yeah. And let's see how many people. And I know you haven't read this at all yet, Mads. And so, like I said, if you have a chance, you can get the Audible or you can get the trilogy. And the first book is the Mandalorian Armor. So basically, Boba Fett in the lore has always been Mandalorian until the retcon with Filoni. So in the Disney lore, he's not Mandalorian. In the Legends, he is still. And so basically his father Jango was the one that was raised that way, and then he's his clone, as we know, not really his son, his clone. And so what had helped him with surviving the Sarlacc pit, not only his perseverance, but also the armor. Because whatever was covered up by the armor, the toxic fluids and the acids and the poisons did not eat through his skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So very, very compelling. Let's see here. What did Will say? Yeah, but that doesn't go over with the wine moms that are Disney's new target. Oh, they never watch a show where a man gives up a baby like that, even if even if it's his job to do. Yeah, it wouldn't have gone well. We have to consider the audience that Disney's catering to, but that would be interesting to see the baby turned over, be having a more Boba Fett-ish. I know.
I can't see them doing that just for one reason.
Okay.
How many people are tuning in largely to see Baby Yoda?
Exactly. Yep.
He's the whole cute factor that's to bring in a lot of people, and he's great merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people aren't going to sit there and cuddle up with like a little Mandalorian, but they'll cuddle up with a Baby Yoda stuffy.
Yeah, I got my Mandalorian doll right here, Mom. I mean, I want the Funko Pop Mandalorian series that's coming out. And I think that's one of the only things I'm going to buy of Disney's, really, is the Mandalorian Funko Pops.
Yeah.
And I plan on doing a a toy haul or a Funko Pop haul once I get them. In fact, this weekend I'm going down to LA and we're going to Hollywood, and they have a big old Funko Pop outlet there. So I'm going to go see if they have them, and I can't wait. Yeah. So I'm nerding out on that. But that's the only thing sadly, that's the only thing I probably will purchase of Disney Star Wars, is that, just because I am interested in the story, even though I am still on the fence about Baby Yoda, and it's a good series considering what it is. I'm not a huge fan, but I really like the Funko Pops. Okay, let's see here. Not my Star Wars. In the Mandalorian show, they proclaim Boba is Mandalorian. Laugh out loud. Are they all confused?
They are all confused.
They don't know which way they want to go. This right here. I said this in another video of mine when I was talking about Boba Fett, and then I said Boba Fett-ish or Fett-ish, and I was like, that does not sound right. Oh God. Let's have a fetish about the Boba Fetts, right? Boba Fett-ish. Yeah. I'll check it out. Oh. All right, Will Gentry. It should have been a baby Wookiee, but they need to explain Rey in a new powers. Yeah, so that force healing too, again, that was done, I would say, in a sense, kind of brilliantly by Disney's Lucasfilm to introduce healing. However, it's still how they did healing in Rise of Skywalker it's a lore breaker.
Yeah.
It's a lore breaker. And I still think it's a lore breaker with the Baby Yoda, because yeah, we only know what, as of now, 3 Yoda species. That's Yoda, Yaddle, and now this Baby Yoda species. So because each of them, were using the Force, or Force sensitive, so now everybody's in the conclusion that Yoda species are really, really good at using the Force. And because that's the consensus. But I also think that they're not. I think that the Force may be prevalent in certain families, certain species and stuff, but I still think you do need training. That's not an excuse to be able to Force heal just because you think the species is, strong in the Force. You still need training to use it.
I mean, three individuals does not make a good, assessment of an entire race.
Yeah.
I mean, what if, some aliens came across Usain Bolt, Michael Jordan, and I'm picking, I can't come up with somebody else at random. Serena Williams.
Okay.
They think we were all naturally athletic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll own it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, like you said, like, statistically wise, it doesn't make a good assessment at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that's where my argument is. And I've seen many people argue, well, because the three are force sensitives and that makes that species prevalent in proficient in using the force. No, first of all, it's established that you have to be trained. If you look at the lore with Yoda in the original EU, he didn't even know he was force sensitive.
Yeah.
Until he got saved when his space, when he, basically his ship stalled. It was a very decrepit ship that he was trying to get to Coruscant in to find a job, find work. And a Jedi Master when basically found them and saved them and realized that him and his crew member were force sensitive. And basically that's how Yoda came into the Jedi Order. So who knows? His name is Yoda. Yaddle Yoda. Yo, bro.
Yo, bro.
Is hey, yo, bro. It's Yobo, bro. And Bandar, you guys are having a fetish about Yoda species now names. No.
Honestly, I've heard so many versions. I just, at this point, I really want them to just come up, just say the dang name.
Mm-hmm. Yo, bro, and yo, baby. Yo, baby.
Yo, baby.
Yo, baby.
That's the main reason why, because every time Fatal J talks about it, it sounds like a pickup line. with his accent, because it's always like Yoda baby.
Uh-huh. Yoda baby. And you're like, uh-huh. You're getting sexy with me again. Oh my God. All right. So we're coming up on 2 hours. I usually run this like up to maybe an hour, hour and a half. So I just went over the trilogy a little bit. So go ahead and pick up the books. I encourage you guys. This is why I'm here. If you guys have any questions about the EU on where to start, get a hold of me on Twitter, or leave a comment with me below. Let me know where you need to pick up on if you haven't had done so already. And thank you, Mads Mama Bear, for coming in and being one of my. Actually, you're my first guest in my coffee chat. So
I'm honored.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about
that I drank my coffee, before I actually popped on.
Yeah, nice. You're like coffee. Next time, I don't care. I don't care if you have a breakfast or you drink coffee in the coffee chat because this is very casual. I'm not worried about like, oh God, nice.
That's my personal coffee mug.
Oh, nice. This is mine. Look at my merch, you guys. So please go check it out. Get your mug coffee T-shirt. You can get it with or without text. And so you guys have a great day. Happy New Year's. Again, I'm going to pick up on the Mara Jade quotes. I kind of slowed down on them through the New Year's holidays. So you guys will have a chance of winning a copy of my Mara Jade painting. It's in the background, but you can't see it. Sorry. And so keep up on that. By guessing this correct novel or source material, the more you guess correctly, the more then you have the chance of winning. Participate here in my coffee chats. All your names will go down as well. So whoever comes in the most here, it's all going to go in. And I might do two. I might do individual coffee chat one and the Twitter guess the quote, Marjay quote. So I'm excited about that, just to keep you guys interested. And I am putting up my website for my art as well. And that will be coming up here shortly. Thank you again, Mads Mama Bear. Go ahead and give us your channel information where we can find you.
Hey, Mads Mama Bear here. You can find me at Mads Mama Bear, both on Twitter and on YouTube. I'm going to be putting up a couple reviews in the next few days, and always dropping up some recipes.
All right. So you guys go and subscribe to her channel so you can keep update on her content as well and follow her on Twitter. She's such a wonderful woman. And I am so glad that, being in this community has brought me and her, into the same circle and as friends in the community as well. I'm forever thankful. You guys have a great day and may the force be with you.
Later.